What has it been
Yeah,
now?
right.
15 years? You've been 16 years old, 15 years.
Yeah, right, too.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Good to see you. Yeah.
These are very mild. You won't mind kissing them after, there's no aftertaste of, yeah. Usually on a cigar, you get aftertaste. Those are really good. And they're not expensive, it's really mild. The only cigar I smoke. These are very mild. You'd be sick. I don't even go to bed for 2 days after. Like your problem that you had. Same thing. Brandon's not gonna be, you know, that, and Ryan's gonna be late, so we'll start by 6 o'clock. If he gets here, he gets here. But we still need Arctic, right?
You need one more.
Is it done with Arctic? He never responded. Did he have a surgery?
Hey. How are you? Good. Are you able to make the meeting today? Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
The event was postponed last night.
Yeah, the weather was pretty bad, park was pretty wet. Even though it kind of dried up to the evening, we weren't really sure if it was coming.
So it's a week from today. It's 6:45, sorry. Ryan said we should be done later.
Thoughts? Brown. You know how he likes to talk.
Presents the numbers and that's it. Any questions?
I barely shut him up.
I'll answer you this off screen. Which June 2023, 24 was up by about 20%. What was that from? Was there any one thing?
Actually, structured rates.
Structured plays.
I didn't bring.
Was it arson or just
But
mostly
like we had one, it's a couple of days ago.
arson?
Grand. With these vacant structures now that people getting in front. They're taking less naps.
Pardon?
They're taking less naps, so they're responding more. I think they're wrong. More naps.
Yeah, right.
How do you feel? How do you feel, Paul?
How's it going?
Did you have any surgery?
Yes.
Okay, April 15th. April 15th, yes. So another hip? Yes, so the same here. No, we got two new ones.
Yes,
So now you can do the twist.
not right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. But soon, it's better, much better,
Good,
much better.
good. Good, good, good.
Everybody looks great.
Oh, yeah.
I said, everybody looks great.
Yeah,
It's
Hello,
we're here. We're here.
pardon?
Can we get started? Yeah. We have a forum. Okay. Oh, you gotta start that.
It started.
Oh, okay. All right, let's call the meeting to order and, oops. Can we say you bet?
Okay.
Call the meeting to order and, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, yes. Commissioner Curious,
Here.
Commissioner George. Here, Commissioner Watkins.
Here.
Commissioner Hicks. Absent today. Commissioner Johnson should be here shortly.
Look, we should be here very shortly. We'll move forward. Approval of the minutes. If anybody has any question on the minutes or if we can have a motion to approve. Motion
Second.
in a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Approval of the minutes. Opening remarks, commissioners. Commissioner George.
As always, just thank you, everybody, for all the hard work that you're doing. I know we've had a couple of incidents and things happening throughout the community, but I think, everybody's responded well. So I'm sure we'll get into some of that today. But thank you, as always.
Thank you.
Right,
What?
I been absent for a while with this one, but, things have, I've heard, checking on. Everything's going on, property. Thank you for services. Fire and,
Absolutely, our two fine chiefs, police and fire, and welcome back.
say, like, you're doing better. Yeah, thank you.
Next on the agenda is police department.
All right, we don't have a whole lot. We've had a little bit of an increase in some of our citizen complaints, but we're kind of attributing that to making it very accessible for the citizens to file complaints. Fortunately, out of those complaints, I don't think a lot of them are substantiated, but we are getting some more. But I look at it as a positive. It's citizens are participating, they're voicing their concerns and we're able to address them. So I'm sure Director Black will support that. I'm gonna switch to a more positive note. Our National Night Out was actually scheduled for yesterday. But due to the weather, we postponed it, so it's going to be August 13th from 5:30 to 8:30 at Massachusetts Park. I believe it should be a really good event. Have vendors there, concert goers, local from the radio station is going to be there. We're gonna have a lot of events for kids and food, and, you know, and again, our goal with this is really to bring the community and the police department together. Just so everyone sees, you know, we're all human beings here. We're all, you know, we all like to have fun. You know, it's not all doom and gloom. Just try to do something positive. So we're gonna continue to work on those events. You know, our lead operator, Ron Locution, and our records bureau officer, Everett Burrow, they're basically coordinated, community link coordinators. And they're doing a phenomenal job, reaching out to the public, to donors, and we've had a lot of partnerships with local businesses and some outside the city that have donated our cause. We're very thankful for that. Appreciate you guys.
What's it gonna be?
It's August 13th,
Where?
Massachusetts Park. So right on Woodward by City Hall.
Oh,
And yeah, so
from the library?
next to the library. Yeah, so between the library and City Hall. Yeah, we also got some T-shirts that we're selling, kind of like a promotional fundraiser thing to help us put on these events. So if you see them there in the lobby, they're kind of on the board. People can buy them. They're like $20. In fact, I'm wearing one of them right now. So it says we are one, but there's some that are more police specific too. So it's all about just trying to bring the revenues and have some of these. That's, we don't have really a budget for that. Our financial situation right now. So, our jail funding, I'll update you on that. We did not get. Street Canada chose some other projects in other communities. And we did not get funding for our jail, nor did we get funding for our financial. Apparently our projects were not as important.
So he delivered, well, got to. So he personally.
So
They voted down on the Highland Park?
our projects, yes. I don't know if there's political reasons behind it or not, but to me, it doesn't matter. It's disappointing because we're a community in need. And in my opinion, I may be biased, but I believe that we're in need more than any of the other communities that we're funding. So for me, it's a disappointment.
So I mean, I asked, he's coming to the office next. Oh, sometime.
Hey, ask him whatever you want. We had him out, he visited our sites, our projects. You know, I've texted back and forth with him personally, and I thought our projects met the requirements. I thought our projects, you know, were a critical need for the community. And, so again, I'm disappointed. I'm not a politician, so I don't care to say it. I mean, we didn't get our money that I think we deserve.
And I quote you on that.
You sure can. Yeah, because
I won't be interviewing about it tomorrow.
I think it's just, it's very disappointing, because I think some of the other projects, although probably worthy, were not quite as worthy as ours, especially when it comes to a fire truck. I get that people don't want to fund jails, stuff like that, for whatever reason, but, you know, we're in desperate need of a fire truck. So to not fund that project is extremely. So, that's my soapbox speech there. Other than that, we're doing pretty good. We've had an interest recently in people wanting to be the police. So hopefully we get some good candidates and we bring them before the board, and you know, we fill our roster so we can be like that, the fire department. Not quite like the fire, but fully staffed.
Chief, I have a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
You had mentioned that there's more complaints, but you're making it easier for people. Like, what is the top couple of complaints? What category do they fall?
So I think a lot of them they come down to customer service. You know, some people, and it's something I know we have to work on. I think our officers do a pretty good job, but, you know, officers are frustrated. We're staff, not to make any excuses, but so sometimes they're, you know, not to the point where I think it gets physical or it becomes an issue. I think it's more just customer service. And I
Short temper.
maybe short tempered. I don't see anything, you know, it doesn't rise to the level of violence or anything that I think is going to be anything significant other than to some degree, I think it's disrespect.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great way to put it, customer service, whether they like it or not, those are customers.
Yeah,
They really are, they're customers. You can call them whatever you want, but they're a customer of the city and of the area, and we all know what happens in a restaurant if you don't service your customers. You go somewhere else. So I'm glad that you said customer service, because I think it's really important that they understand that. We want them to do their job, of course, but you know, a couple different ways to do it.
yeah. So, you know, I think that it's something we can work on. I don't think it's, you know, not anything that can't be fixed. But now that it's being addressed more, at least makes it easier to say, hey, listen, this is becoming a problem. And, you know, we need to work.
And you think that's because of like the police officer?
Well, I think there's several factors. One, I think climate in general, people don't respect the police. So naturally, they're gonna have an attitude with the police. a lot of times, and the police are gonna respond because they're human beings, and they're responding to that. I'm not saying that that's correct, but that's reality. Plus, officers are working a lot of overtime. Officers are under stress, you know, personally outside of here. There's a lot of factors that are going on. And I think through a little bit of training, we let them know, like, listen, just like I said, customer service, you know, at the end of the day, we work for the citizens.
How many officers are there? Sure.
We are short, we are probably short. Basically, based on our roster with just patrolmen, probably 40%.
How many?
Well, I don't like to share the numbers specifics just because I think it's an officer safety issue, so I don't ever share manpower, but I can tell you in percentage, that's almost half. So it's not good in terms of
What would you be comfortable with?
well, I'd be comfortable if you know, if that number was, you know, 20%, I think we would feel more comfortable. And I believe we're close. So, like I said, it's not all bad news. We have 3 people that are projected to complete the academy in the next 30 days.
Oh, you have 3 that are coming out, getting good?
And then we'll have, we have an uptick in our interest as far as applicants.
That's great.
And some of these applicants look like they have good potential. And we're not lowering our hiring standards. I mean, we could have a full roster tomorrow if we lowered our hiring standards. But that's not something we're willing to compromise with. Or ever.
I understand Mr. Comm, but
Pardon?
your hiring standards, it's called, but which way to South?
Well, I don't know their standards. I know our standards and you know, we want high quality officers that are motivated without criminal histories, without history of violence, without, you know, any of that stuff. So we're not, you know, sometimes people have those numbers, but you know, and they could be the police, but they have a history of violence or they had a history of something. We don't want that person. It creates lawsuits and quite frankly, we've been in that moment. And we're not looking to go back.
Are we doing any psychological evaluation on the hiring?
So they all receive a evaluation. There's different variations of that. It can be done through a by a medical doctor, or it can be done by a psychologist. Currently, we use our concentric. We use concentric. They evaluate our there's another level of evaluation that we can participate in. It's very costly. And we haven't utilized it yet, but we make it.
When we go to psychological evaluations, what are the, I guess, the triggers that we're looking for? To qualify someone, or is it just that your mental stability is good?
Well, no, there's several, again, there's several factors there. You know, the tests and the questions and psychological questions. A lot of these tests are very lengthy, and they ask you questions in several variations, just to make sure that you're being truthful. But a lot of it is seeking out violence. A lot of it is seeking out emotional, you know, people who suffer from emotional problems, people who
Want to get to the job?
correct. Yeah, some people have trauma in their life, and you know, unfortunately, that can project to their job and cause problems down the line, especially if they hadn't dealt with, you know, whatever trauma was. So they look for biases.
You know, my next question, are we looking for like any cultural, racial bias?
So they look for cultural, racial, they look for all those biases, but they also look, you know, at biases such as, let's say you're a victim of domestic violence. You may treat all domestic violence cases differently because you actually participate. You know, so they look at these variables and how they'll affect your career, and make sure that it's something that you are capable of dealing with without having, you know.
The only question I had was just, trainings on customer service. So what specifically do you look at, or what training specifically? As far as customer service or helping the officers with interacting with the citizens?
So, I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot of the implicit bias treatment. So, a lot of those trainings, but right now, I think our specific problem is a little different. And, it's something we have to look at. We're in the process of switching to, a new virtual training. And they have a lot of trainings that meet, MPOL standards. They meet, our current policies. So I believe that with that training, we'll find what we need. Not to mention, a lot of this stuff I think can be done with just monitoring and verbal, counseling.
I think virtual training. Be effective for use. Or so than one-on-one.
I think they both, so people have different learning abilities. Some are hands-on, some are, visual learners.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I've utilized both forms of training, obviously. I've had success with virtual training.
Which we do prefer.
It depends. A lot of so tactical training, I like hands-on. I think that you have to feel that, you have to move, any of that type of training. I think some of the, some of the other trainings, virtual academy meets the needs. It's really about mindset. A lot of this is about mindset. You have to be in the right mindset. Sometimes when you take these tests or, they'll have character tests and things like that, you learn about your, how your emotions work. It helps you deal with it. So I do believe that the virtual training can be successful.
Thank you.
Chief, I have one thing on the business. I know we dealt with this previously, but I still don't get complaints. The last complaint I got was on Saturday, July 27th at 11:54. Real next door, I know we can check it out. For his music, previously, and we've been up there several times, and it's an ongoing problem still. So how can we sit up and address this properly so that the neighbors are not complaining?
Well, first of all, I don't, this is the first I'm hearing about it, so I don't know, did they call you?
They called me, but I talked to you about it before.
Well, we actually went there before.
Yeah, because I called you that night.
Yeah, we cited.
Yeah, you cited them that night, and so, and I understand it's been an ongoing problem with him, and this thing is ticking me along. So at that point, if he's not abiding by the tickets because he's paying them, what other options can we pursue? Because, he's playing his music 12, 1 o'clock. We got a lot of elderly people. Like I said, this text I got was on a Saturday at 11 o'clock, and almost 12 o'clock at night.
So really what I need the citizens to contact their desk. That way we can document what's going on. And eventually, that individual can be changed. We can go after them as a public nuisance.
What, number will we have him call?
You can have them call, our desk number, the 313-852-7338.
7338.
Or they can call 911. They dispatch with us, just let them know it's not an emergency. And,
It's on Woodward,
Yeah, it's right next to City Hall.
but it's behind, like the people behind it.
Yeah, he's on the corner of
Next to the city council.
that's the City Hall.
Yeah.
And, he's put a lot of money into himself, and I watched him build it, but,
It's an outdoor,
and an outdoor patio.
okay.
And,
And you see it's coming from the outdoor patio.
I don't know if it's coming from the outdoor, but he has a walkway that he lifts up or whatever, it's going to go out to the patio, so I don't know if it's coming from inside or outside.
I think what our officers found was that, I don't know if it's for ventilation or whatnot, they'll open up the building right in the back. And a lot of the sound is,
It's for the patio. Yeah,
it's going out towards the neighborhood. But I can tell you, we did not get a lot of cooperation from them.
that's what I'm saying, right? I know, that's why I was asking. I know this thing is, I'll make it take, I'm gonna turn my music down. So at that point, he's just defiant, so what other remedies do we have that we can start?
Well, like I said, I assume this problem was resolved because this is the first time I'm hearing about it since the time we ticketed it.
I just didn't call you that night because it was late, I said I'd deal with it.
Well, what I really need is I need input. So I need people to contact the desk because that gets documented. Then I can go back and put that address in and say, okay, in the last 30 days, you know, we had 30 runs there. Or whatnot, and we've cited you multiple times. And now you're becoming a public nuisance. So now, you know, we can go after the business and say, listen, you're not cooperating, you know, do not renew their license, do not do this. We can revoke their license. There's things that, you know, there's avenues.
And that's what I wanted to ask, and I knew that's what I wanted to put it on record, because I told complaints when they called me that we were dealing with it here. Like I said, I get calls all the time, but if it's late, I'm not calling you that late. I did once time. But yeah, so. But
Yeah, I mean, you know, it comes down to, we gotta cohabitate the businesses and the residents. And there has to be mutual respect. You know, I was actually in a bar kind of restaurant a couple weeks ago, and the one thing I noticed, they had a decibel meter. Which I don't know if they've been cited before or not, but they had a decibel meter in each corner of their building. And they monitored the decibels coming out of the building. And I thought that was kind of unique. I'm like, oh, you know, that way you're at least making an effort to be in compliance.
now, what is is there a time that by city statute that he has to turn it down? Because from my understanding, they don't mind it until about 10 or 11 o'clock.
And so we have probably one of the most lackadaisical noise ordinances in any other you know, any other city that I'm aware of. They're allowed to make basically a decent amount of noise up until 11.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
So
That's it.
you know, then most places are like 10.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
some
11:30.
places go to 11. But 11:30 is pretty late, especially during the week. But that's what we have.
Yeah, the what?
However, you know, there is disturbing peace. There's other, you know, there are other avenues. So obviously, if we get, you know, 4 or 5 citizens call and say, hey, this is really bothering us, then at that point, you know, it's an issue. It's disturbing the peace.
So I will pass this along to the people in the community for the call, so we can start documenting. All right.
And we tried to talk to him.
Yeah.
No, the residents have actually talked to him, and, you know, they like the guy, but he's like, I'm not cutting nothing down, so.
What about law enforcement? Law
Yeah,
enforcement.
we've been out there.
Well, it made it to the level of we had cited
Cited,
and
yeah.
threatened to arrest him before the news woke up.
Yeah, so what he's doing, he'll pay the ticket and he just doesn't care because that's what I'm saying, you know, how do we escalate this fast, just him getting a ticket, so. I will make sure that they call the desk when they have an issue, and so we can start documenting the buzz going out.
Yeah, that's really what it's gonna come down to, because at some point, we're going to have to go to a judge and say, hey, you know, this is becoming a nuisance, and we need to address it, which can mean anything from revoking their license. Once that happens, then we can shut them down. They can't operate in the building.
Right.
So you either meet the requirements, you're in compliance, or you get shut down.
Right. Should we bring him in here and kind of
The
figure that out?
The community has talked to him, he's friends with some of them, he's, you know, really ticking them off, because he's like, I'm not cutting my business down.
Right, but I mean, he's gonna eventually lose his liquor
That's-
license if that
yeah.
continues.
I don't think he cares.
And
at
that's
this
not
point.
good for anybody.
I don't think he cares at this point, because like I said, he'll pay the ticket.
Yeah, it's my understanding based on, and I personally have not spoken, so this is all hearsay, but it's my understanding from the officers who had contact that he's pretty much drew a line in the sand.
But do we know why he's done that? Or is
It's
it
because
just-
he feel he can.
I
No, I heard him. Was he a police officer at one time or reserve?
No, he worked at the factory, I believe, and he built the bar from his hands, everything there, he did by himself, and he put his own money into it. And he was really nice with the community until the music started, and people that I know of that know him, that have been friends with him, have went to him and said, hey, can you cut it down? He's like, I'm not cutting anything down. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing because, you know, obviously we need businesses in Holiday. It's a nice establishment. I've been in there, you know, personally, you know, I have time. It's a nice place. So I certainly would like to see him stay. I would like to see us all be able to work this out, but, you know, if one party's not willing to budge, then it is what it is.
And that's pretty much what that, so like I said, I will pass this information over to Calvin to do that from now on.
But I'm also happy to bring people like that too. I think business in the Highland Park is where we lack.
Well, from my understanding,
To be honest, too.
the mayor has talked to him as well. So people have tried to talk to him.
I got you. And I don't know, maybe there's another project. I don't
But
know.
listen, there's certainly nothing stopping the commission from reaching out to them and let them know the potential repercussions of this.
And even giving suggestions, right? You just said that's the book. I don't know if we made that suggestion to that business, or not, but if we can, I would.
Well, one thing is he knows that the music is loud, he just don't care, right? And you know, this is not like at 10, like when I've talked to him, like, you know, if it was 10 o'clock, we wouldn't have a problem. He's doing this at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you can hear this all the way down the block.
Yeah, and I guess for me, we accepted a bar being here. We know the bars are gonna stay open to 2 a.m.
Yeah, but the music factor of it, and being there, you know, the community supports you, and they support you well, from what I understand.
They do.
So if you can't support your community back, you've had multiple warnings, and you just snub your finger, then hey.
But that's what I mean, that we just make suggestions, right? Because I still think we understand what the business
I'd
is.
love to have them at the next meeting, just to talk.
Yeah,
It's a problem, they're causing the problem.
That was the problem.
Let's talk about it.
Can we have it the next meeting?
You guys can do whatever you want.
I will reach out and see if he's willing to come in and talk, and if not,
and I'm even willing to do so too. I know I've supported the business as well.
You don't invite him. And if he comes, then we're gonna have a conversation.
Right.
And at the end of the day, if we can, if, you know, the residents are happy, he's still making money in the
Right.
Everybody should be
business.
Right.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, right.
That's great, but you know, you can't, you know, you gotta have respect for the residents too.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Right, anything else for the chief? All right, thank you, sir. Chief.
I don't have any citizens influence. Cause they all come to us. for
They all come down, right?
We started school. I think that's been so far.
Wow.
They've all passed. Elementary. And then we were awarded a grant to buy new fire gear for the fire department. They have another one that we possibly have in September. Road trucks that we had in the city yard and sat there for quite some time, we just collected. That's. They're all done.
Can we ask how much it's worth?
89,000. 30.
That's such a wonderful job. You don't have to buy the commission those nice fire shirts that you have. You've done a wonderful job, and for your diligent work, like a shirt.
How much is the grant again?
89,000. Like, it's changed, right?
No, is that to buy a truck or?
That's a fire.
That's a fire, yeah. No, the truck's not about $1 million.
Here's like a water hose or.
Breathing apparatuses and everything.
So the actual gear itself, and one setup, it's like 6,000. It's just a coat and paints. It's pretty expensive. So. But anyway, the grant will cover the entire department.
Anyone have any questions on the incident report and the governance?
Oh, I think that's the first week.
That's for this.
That's for August, too, so.
Last year compared to this year's July, we did have project. And then it's actually instruction.
Occupied or vanished.
Thanks.
Property value. Any questions for you? All right, turn up there to regular.
Yes, good evening, Commission. As the Chief mentioned earlier, we do have about 20% uptick in citizen complaints. Of the totality of the citizen complaints. 94% of them are low-level complaints. It's considered they don't have any criminality. Their complaints about, basically customer service issues. Nothing, no serious allegations. Of the remaining percentage, all those issues have been dealt with. And the staff that were involved in those incidents are no longer.
Is that year to date, or is that just over the last month?
That would be over the last 60 days since we've had this.
When there's a complaint against an officer, do they know it every time? I mean, does
Every
somebody
time.
tell them there's a complaint against them?
Every time,
Okay, even if it's not a, horrible complaint, there's a complaint.
every time. We're required.
So. Out of that 90%, the officers that are no longer here, were they part of that 90% as well?
They were also part of 90%, yeah. So generally what you find, and this is in any organization, I'm not just going to limit it to public service, is that the majority of your complaints come from the minority of staff that have fallen into a propensity. Okay, and a pattern, in a practice. So, again, our goal is corrective actions to get them out of that propensity to align with organizational goals. And if they don't, then, maybe a different organization.
Right, and so since the officers are no longer here, have we had a decrease in the complaints?
So there is a significant decrease. There is a significant decrease after the separation of those individuals.
Real quick question, 'cause I know you're going to do a roll with the internet and everything. Have we got it set up yet where we can take questions?
Yeah, so you're set up like city council meetings.
Okay.
So I did not set this one up. But moving forward, you do have your own like Zoom link that's dedicated to police and fire commissioners, where they can click it, join it, ask questions, raise their hand.
How are you agreeing?
Blue light. So I actually had a conversation with what's now Amico. So we had ownership change in two of our locations that I told you were gonna go up. They both changed owners after we had that. So the Amico, which is on Bear Street, right at Davidson. I talked to them at length yesterday, and I talked to their IT person, and we're coordinating the technical challenges because they changed their radio system from what the other one was. So I told them what they needed to do. They're ordering the signs and the lights. So hopefully we'll get that location up. And then the other location, which is at 6 Mile, there was some constructive challenges there. I have to see if they're still going to participate in the program. That they are, they'll be targeted.
How many businesses total do we have now?
Maybe 10.
You got a man? Monitoring
It's a collaborative effort.
24 hours a day? Is it in the station or is it
They're everywhere.
no, it's the hub that monitors.
This has the foot control system.
So the police. It's a room by itself?
No.
That was the question.
No, and I don't want to get too much into our tech.
Oh.
So we can have a offline conversation.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's important for everyone. Oh, it is monitored.
Yes, it is certainly
And
monitored.
we remotely monitored as well from various locations.
Multiple officers and staff have access to it at all times.
For the record, it's really monitoring if something happened, I think really good. That's what we're doing.
In addition, the business owners can also monitor. So, who's gonna protect the property more than the property owner? They have the ability to call us. So, hey, in addition to our eyes, No, we have their as well.
Are we gonna start back actively trying to enroll businesses again?
We are. What we found is that it's not just one particular, because it's assistive technology, it will never replace humans. And that's never the goal of what technology is. It's always to assist. We found that multiple assistive technologies to assist that human, that strain is doing that job is the way to go. So in addition to blue light, our flock system, and some of the other technologies that we have, I can give you an example of a case that I was personally involved in. As a matter of fact, the running joke in the department is that I need to stay away from the road. Because it appears that every time I go on the road, that we have some critical incident, including today.
Okay.
So the officer says, get out of here, like, what are you doing here? So in the 3 significant incidents that I've been involved in, all of them were solved extremely quickly using technology and other various resources. I mean, very quickly. Okay, the most major one was solved 2 hours later with an arrest. So that's what we found. So it's more than just blue light. It's the combination. Which we have access to, which is very important. So not only is it the technology, but we figured out a way to get access to it. I mean, we really have access to technologies that have been reserved for, some of the government entities that, are flush with money.
All right, anything else for Director Light? Perfect, thank you, Director Light. Any commission affairs?
I don't have any, but I know our next meeting is September.
Question.
Second is a Monday. So that Wednesday is the 4th, so I just want to make sure everybody's here or.
Yep, I'm in town. 4th, so Labor Day is the 2nd, so.
Yeah.
Yep, everybody in town?
Yep.
Okay, so that's fun. Commission for Chief, is it possible, I know we talked about it before, can you send the commission stuff when we're having things? I know the last, thing that I saw, I think it was this week, I didn't find out about it until the day after I looked on Facebook.
Are you guys, members of the mass text group? No. So we gotta get you set up with that. I have to give your information to Keisha. Okay. Cause the city puts out these mass texts, to people that are involved with her. And it gives, they do it weekly, so I think every Sunday they push it out. And, it, gives a calendar of events, and then it's also like a refresher of what's happening then. Okay.
So if you can, I really appreciate it, 'cause I know we like to come on to the board. So, does anyone have anything else? Seeing none, public comments? No.
Are there any public comments?
No public comments, so no public comments, so, all right, with that, any closing remarks from anyone?
But yeah, if I can, Director Lackey. And it's something that I suggested to the Detroit Police Chief 2 weeks ago. You guys have a no chase policy, obviously, all other police departments.
We have
Yeah, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
But basically we have criteria that has to be met. Okay.
Detroit is a strict no chase policy, and it causes problems because as soon as somebody creates a crime, they jump in the car, and as soon as they pull away, they're not chasing. So I suggested, and you're the genius at this, a drone, these drones that go up that have so much technology today that maybe Highland Park can have 1 up at all times or 2 up at all times and 2 backup. And they have the cameras and they have the GPS. And if there's an issue, you send the drone to follow the car around instead of sending a squad car. And They could follow them everywhere.
So I agree with you. The type of drone that we need cost is significant,
How much is significant
about $30,000
for one drone?
for one drone. Because, not
But it has FLIR abilities. it
Yes.
has- Plus, you have to understand, the drone really can't keep up with 130 mile an hour. Okay.
But it'll have the GPS on that car. May not be able to follow it.
so, so not delving into some of our techniques. But we have the ultimate drone.
Okay.
And I'll tell you off.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
What we have.
That's fine.
And actually, one of the incidents that I described, the three major incidents,
Right.
I can't go really.
Okay.
Is,
Listen, I mean, we'll make it clear, I want the public. You know, there's helicopters. Right?
Yes.
We put them up.
Yeah, I know,
We
but
follow them.
you know what it costs and the time wise to get a helicopter up?
A lot of times
They're up
They're
already.
already up already.
They're up already. So we have access to several helicopters from two different agencies that will assist us when needed. But, so you know, one of the incidents we had did meet the criteria of a pursuit. It was a short-lived pursuit that was ultimately terminated because it fell outside of the criteria, so it was terminated. But we apprehended that individual 3 or 4 days later, based upon some of that assistive technology. You know, so it may take a little bit more due diligence, but we'll always do it.
And I think it's also important for the public to know, like. When we find your car, when we find you, we come to you to arrest you. We, you know, it's not, you got away, you're out of Highland Park, you're safe, but we go to other agencies and other cities and arrest you and take your car. You know, and we prosecute to whatever extent of law allows, even including forfeiture. So, you know, it's important for people to know, we will take your stuff if we can.
No, as Mike was saying with the drones, I know they're costly. I know several years ago, Justice Department had some grants out there. Do you know if any of the grants are still available?
So we have one that's awarded to us now that I propose putting a drone in. We talked about. We certainly discussed it. The reason I know how much the drone costs is because we've had those conversations. And it also requires specialized training. So we gotta, the operators gotta have an FAA license.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so we know the program, yeah, we certainly agree with it, and we want to get one.
It's a process stuff.
Yeah, I think the fire department may have one that we may be able to.
They got a toy one out there. They don't need that.
Oh.
They don't need their license to put it up in their ear.
You're sitting in the recliners.
Right.
Watching
It
Xbox.
goes along,
Yeah.
it goes along with the Xbox.
But no, in all seriousness, there is a particular drone program that it streams the video back to you know, our portal, you know, where we keep our evidence at. And it can go up to, I think, 3 to 5 miles. So anywhere in the city, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So it is one of the initiatives that is certainly on my short list, and I know it's on the chief's list. Something that we are definitely striving towards. We just got to get that bucket of money to get it out. Yeah.
There's other ones too. It's not just chasing cars. Obviously, we're looking for, you know, bad guys that might be hiding in tall grass, hiding behind buildings. You know, you can save an officer's life. Because you know where to respond. You're not ambushed. You know, the fire department, obviously, is something they can utilize to search buildings and find people maybe that burden. You know, there's a lot of variables, a lot of benefits to it. Yeah. But like you said, it's just we're attacking one thing at a time. We are very fortunate to be recipients of grants that have allowed us, you know, with his expertise and our grants and things like that. We probably have some of the best technology, most of the local agencies around here. So that's something to be proud of, especially for a struggling city financially.
Exactly.
You know, so
You guys are doing a good job. So. Right, so with that, no other remarks, can I get a motion to adjourn?
No, sir.
Can I get a second? All those in favor?
But in second, we're done.
Huh?
But in second.
You here till tomorrow?
No, he can invite because as a chairman, I'm on the rule on that, and we gonna leave. All right, meeting's